Hey traders, welcome to Charts and Coffee for Wednesday, FOMC Wednesday. Got a lot going on today. We have a lot of hurry up and wait is what we have going on today. We've got the FOMC at 2 p.m. That's going to be the rate statement. And then we go into the press conference at 2:30. So between those two events, the market in terms of course, indices, currencies, treasuries, we have a lot to watch. Oh, look at that! I'm getting a crude oil alert as we speak. Hang on, let's take a look at that. So we have a lot going on. We have crude oil inventories at 10:30, which is kind of all things considered a pretty minor event. But let's not forget today. We also have already had the ADP at 8:15 a.m. Eastern. Already had ADP jobs numbers at the top of the hour, and this is going to affect our day trading. So this morning, my day traders, I'm going to be in the Sector Secrets Mastery Room. We day trade Monday, Wednesday, Friday, as well as look at the longer term daily time frame setups that we do in the Mastery anyways. But we know that we've got this 2-hour chunk of time between 9:30 and 11:30 to try to take advantage of intraday opportunities while also then setting up, in the case of today, what kind of volatility might we get that could allow us to take advantage of any shenanigans that might occur this afternoon with Powell and company. All right, so what else do we have going on? That's enough. I mean, that's pretty much going to keep us quite busy. Now, the reason I got that alert on crude oil, and this is such a great reminder of just some of the practices that are very easy to adopt and that you can put to work in your trading, well, this morning, which is things like using your platform as a trading partner. The reason I got that alert is I'm interested in buying crude. So no doubt, my mastery folks, this is something we're going to look at. Futures folks, this is something we're going to look at. My options rooms folks, we've been talking about dips in USO, XOP, OIH, and XLE. Keep an eye on all of those. So interesting movement in crude. And then we'll kind of take a peek as to what's going on. Is this just some early signs of, all right, Treasury expects to cut 10-year note and 30-year note bond auctions by $2 billion each. Well, okay, so I'm just trying to take a look at some of the chatter coming up on my streams here. All right, we're definitely going to keep an eye on that. Wow, look at that nice move. That's definitely something I want to fade. What do I mean by fade? I'm going to be looking to buy that thing. Anyway, yes, very busy day. Let's get to your questions. And that means we're kicking it off with, let's see here. AJ, IYZ. IYZ is an absolute awesome dumpster fire. Has been for a while. It's just one of those markets that's been moving lower. Well, a lot of the markets have been moving higher. So let's say we would take a look at this IYZ. This is TVZ. This is your telecommunications sector, which when I think about telecommunications, I also think about the XLC communications sector, and that communication sector is actually relatively weak. IYZ's pretty darn weak. So the question here is looking good for a short. I am looking for a short. The challenge today will be, do I or do I not want to take it in front of Powell? So if I have this move here, let me grab my drawing tools. So what I'm seeing here, take a peek in terms of, see this Darvis, we have two levels I'm looking at, Darvis here and Darvis here. And then right actually mixed up in there is the 55 propulsion, which is great. Oh, I think the cat's making a debut on the, hey buddy. All right, so he trades FOMC as well. He likes the volatility. He's a cat. So I'm looking at this area actually as resistance. So very tempting to fade that structure before strategy. In a lot of ways, it would behoove me to start at the bottom of the chart, right, and move higher. Where am I on the structure of the market? Where am I in terms of the standard deviation of the volume weighted average price, which is my V score? And then finally, we end up with the price part of the conversation, Darvis levels, propulsion levels, and price itself. So I like the short. Now, as far as open interest and the stonk holdings, I would definitely dive into AJ. Yeah, I would definitely dive into the IYZ. Do I have it open? I don't. Let's do this here really quickly. So I would definitely dive into the IYZ, and let me open up that file. Okay. And take a look at the individual stocks within it. Do that quick multi-chart scan. Makes life so easy. We know exactly why IYZ is moving. We know exactly what IYZ is going to move. And look at all the double red. I mean, Cisco moving up. Man, I'm not really too concerned about that. Look at T. Look at VZ. Look at Comcast. TMUS. Oh yeah. This is a good place to start looking at potential weakness, no doubt. I would keep an eye on Cisco though, because as a number 2 weighted stock, it could disrupt that overbought resistance on the daily. All right, good stuff. Any advice on this? That's what I'm thinking. We'll probably look at that. I will jot that down because we will probably take a look at that here today when we go into the weekly live trading for the mastery. So I'm going to jot that down. All right. And that one's been on the list. If we can get a move higher, keep an eye on Comcast too, for that matter, AJ. All right, next up. Hey there, Tom. Can I please get your thoughts on pound yen? Sure. In yesterday's free video, I actually went into the way in which the US dollar is going to be in play with the FOMC and treasuries. The pound yen is actually more interesting from the aspect of the yen. And if equities are going to continue to move higher, where's my pound yen here? If equities are going to continue to move higher, that should put more downward selling pressure on the yen. The yen is a carry currency. The yen is often sold or borrowed in order to buy what are expected to be higher yielding assets. It could be a currency with a higher central bank rate, so that you get the carry trade going. It could be buying equities. So pound yen, while it's a nice pullback, really we want to see the contrast between the two currencies. And I'm not sure I don't like Canadian dollar yen a little bit better. Think Canadian dollar, think crude oil, think energy. I'm not sure that I don't like the dollar yen a little bit better, but yeah, definitely pound is good. But I think your main focal point for the pound yen is not the yen. You got the yen perfect, so awesome. You got to ask yourself, in terms of all the currency contrast that I could capitalize on, is the pound the best choice? So I would also consider Canadian dollar and US dollar there. So great question. Thanks for the currency question. I appreciate that. Let's see. Hey there, Heather. Will I be day trading today ahead of the Fed, or is it a hands-off day? Great question. So I call them caution days. And is it a caution day? Yes. However, the one thing I do like is, is caution. Does caution day automatically mean that I will not trade at all? No, what that will usually mean, although that's a really good, I believe, not trading at all for new day traders on a caution day makes a lot of sense. Observe, take notes, take snapshots, get acquainted with what the volatility looks and feels like on days like today. That said, if this is not your first rodeo, and I know for many of you, this is definitely not your first rodeo, awesome. Reduce your size, trade from more conservative levels, maybe trade with a better finite idea of risk, which would be options on the ETF alternatives versus or I should say options on the futures alternatives, meaning use the ETFs, trade calls, trade puts, in lieu of the futures, where if we get sudden volatility, that leverage can make that roller coaster ride pretty tricky. So find ways to reduce risk, smaller position size, change the asset class to options, focus on more moderate conservative levels. And that's the way I'll be navigating through the morning session. And by the way, I'll be in the mastery, but then and so this is a one-off, but I'll be stepping in the day trading room at 10:30 Eastern to noon, I guess, to the end of the day trading room session. So I'll be in there for about 90 minutes with you all. That means my mastery folks, extra cup of coffee. I'm doing a little, I got a little Alpha Brain going today on it. I used to use their other Alpha Brain, but this one has caffeine. Not much though, not much, but got the Alpha Brain going today. We're not messing around. So I'll be with you all from 9:20 to noon today in the mastery, and I'll be with you in the day trading room from 10:30 to noon. So that's the way we're going to be tackling it. Heather, great question. All right. Hey there, Jimmy. I got alarms for, oh yeah, we're going to get them. VLO, pre-market, we're going to see the pressure. With crude oil down, yeah, that's going to be, I mean, look at MPC, but MPC marathon, well, can't blame crude on that. We've got earnings. Tell you what, I look at MPC, and that is akin to ringing the dinner bell for me. So we are definitely going to look at likely trading some crude intraday, but most definitely, stretching out to the longer time frame and looking for opportunities to take advantage of, quite frankly, some of the best trends in the market. Please remember, this is barely reaching the previous Darvis low. This meaning crude. Crude futures are barely reaching the previous Darvis low that we saw back on the 28th. So, any move lower in an uptrend sometimes gets perceived as being, oh my gosh, this is a reversal. What we want to remember is healthy uptrends pull back. Somewhere, it doesn't have to be my metrics. It doesn't have to be my secret squiggles, but somewhere in the process of trading a trend, which this most definitely is, somewhere in the process, there needs to be a line drawn between this is a retracement, this is a reversal. Because I think a lot of traders just feel if we just pivoted from the top and move lower, it's a reversal. I don't really subscribe to that, because if I start thinking reversal and I don't prioritize retracement, I'm never going to be able to engage trends like this one in a consistent manner, because I'm always thinking that every pivot is now then a renewed move in the opposite direction, when in fact, probability tells us that, and Charles Dow did 140 years ago, that trends have a habit of continuing. Do they always continue? Of course not, but we play probabilities. And the probability is this pullback is going to set up another awesome buy. So that's what the priority will be. And so VLO, MPC, XLE, OIH, I've got exposure right now in Schlumberger, which at a pre-market at 32.65 is barely well, I would say it's barely even a retracement. We bought Schlumberger on the 29th of October, and you can see, oh, there's that wave you keep talking about, Rog, your secret squiggle indicator there. And so we're still well above that. I don't like to give back unrealized profit, but that ebb and flow in no man's land is something we just learn to tolerate. And we don't, what's that saying? A watch pot never boils. But I love, Jimmy, I love that you got your eye on that one. I am with you. Hey there, Les. Thanks for tuning in. I absolutely appreciate your time. Otherwise, I'd just be talking to my cat. And let's face it, he's a cat. He could care less. Where's my kibble? Scratch my butt. He's a cat. Although he has the best view in the office here. He's got the view right over here against the windows, and he's just parked right there. He knows his positioning for FOMC is solid, so he's pretty darn relaxed. All right. Thanks, Les. I appreciate that. And thanks for your time. Absolutely. Um, Otherwise, there's you guys are the reasons we do this. All right, my thoughts on copper. You know, I would love to trade copper because Freeport McMoran is absolutely on my watch list for a play. But alas, if there's anything at all that copper might do for us, it's going to be something in this area. It's going to be respecting the trend that was, which is hardly up, but in the most minor of ways, this is going to be a slight bullish bias for movement higher. Uh, what I'll do is I'll split this range in half. That means I want to look at the lower half of the range. This is the range that I want to be buying copper. And I know that Freeport McMoran tends to track with copper, but right now, if you've got your eye on HG futures, take a look at FCX. Looks really good. 21 EMA lit up. And so I like them both. I like them long, but they're not of equal quality. But I do like the long side of copper. Those are my thoughts. Do I have a great setup? Probably don't. Just look at some of the candle bodies and lows. And if you can get some bearish momentum and buy some calls or just buy copper, put your stop somewhere just below the lows of that range, keeps your risk really tight. Unless we get some kind of crazy move. But if you're playing the futures contract, you're not necessarily susceptible to gaps in the same way that you would be if you're trading options on stocks or ETFs, if you're playing the underlying themselves. So a little bit easier risk control. I think that's one of the things that's probably not discussed enough in futures trading, which is the fact that most of these futures contracts trade 23 plus hours, about 23 hours. Got some dirty glasses today. 23 hours a day. And with that comes better risk management because you're not susceptible to these large overnight gaps. You're not looking at periods of time where you cannot execute a trading idea. But please know, not all 24 hours are created the same in terms of volatility or liquidity, but these are very good liquid markets. So thanks for the question on copper. And that's how I would look at it. And keep an eye on Freeport as well. All right, next up is with the potential IEF. Yes, so this IEF that I've been talking about stems from the fact that I just got out of the 30-year. And this last trade on the 30-year, it didn't go the way I was hoping, which is okay. I can't be mad. I can't be mad at the long bond. It's still on the Christmas card list because it's been so good to us. And this right here coincided with a yellow, and I'm not going to hold a more neutral, less bearish structure into FOMC. So we went ahead and got out yesterday, which it wasn't our full. We never risk max debit. So let me not in any way confuse full with max. We never do that. However, our tolerance, we were still within our risk tolerance, but it just made no more sense. It just made no sense at all to keep hanging on to it. And yeah, I probably could have even ditched it the day before, but I wanted to give it some time to work. Consequently, it didn't. We've got this time-based reason to get out. I hit the eject button, and that's fine. Really just not even a paper cut. It was a paper nick. So I'll take it. That, though, to your point, Tim, pushes us away from the long bond and into the 10. And I like the structure on the 10. And of course, IEF is that ETF alternative. And it is something I'm going to be looking to set up today. If you're in the live trading for the ETF formula class, you're already in. So we're going to look to add some more levels to this. And definitely this will be on the radar for a trade today, 100%. Okay, next up is, do I think today is a good day to enter BP? You've got a gap, you've got the earnings. So this is going to be pretty reminiscent of what I'll mention about MPC. Got a dramatic move. it does not hurt to wait for an inside day or a minor low. Because this gapped, I would say, yeah, I would wait. I think there's going to be a number of oil stocks that look great, maybe even including oil for the pullback buy, which we've been waiting for. And, for those traders wondering, do we short? No, but if you're short, thank you, because now price is at where I need to buy. And I hope those folks that are shorting, take a little profit, because the short is a play that's sort of against the trend, the larger trend. And then I'm going to look for the best trends on the individual oil stocks. Is BP amongst them? I'd give BP a day to sort of find its sea legs. Okay. All right, gang. I'm going to go jump into the mastery. Great as always to see everybody. Thank you as always for your time. We'll be here tomorrow, same time, same station. Be good to each other. And I'll see you in the mastery room now, and I'll see you in the day trading room at 10:30 Eastern. Be good to each other.